What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another open beta patch notes review. And today we have open beta 10, God of Music. And as you can see, it's Apollo. Apollo is coming. 5/16/25 is when this was posted. Didn't have enough time. I usually like to get them out as soon as they come out, but these past few times I've been only been able to get them out the day before the update goes live. As today is the 18th, I'm recording it. This will probably be up the day that it comes out, which is 5/19, a Monday. And we'll see what's going on here soon. But as per usual, the URL to this will be in the description down below if you want to take a look at it yourself. But without further ado, let's get into this. See what we got cooking for open beta 10. And as per usual, I do know a couple things, not everything, just a couple of things that is coming. Apollo finally joins. His aspect of Harmony launches on May 23rd, which I believe is that the same week? 19, 20, 21, 22. Yeah, so that's that Friday, I believe. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. There he is, updated version of his artwork. All right, so Apollo, range basic attacks, physical, strength healing, as per usual, on a lot of these gods that are pretty obviously, you know, basic attack range and strength scaling, which usually most hunters are primarily focused on. All right, passive Audacity. Gain a stack of Audacity for each successful basic attack on an enemy, and for each successful damaging ability on enemy gods. At 10 stacks, you gain 100% attack speed and increase basic attack projectile speed for his next 5 basic attacks. Now, from what I remember, I think this is right. At 10 stacks. No, I think this is right. I'm thinking of this. Never mind. So that is correct. So basically the same exact passive. Ability, so beautiful. Send a projectile forward that deals physical damage. Okay. Serenade, sing to mesmerize all nearby enemies and gain additional protections. Any damage done breaks a mez. Almost the exact same. I think these are all the same. I don't know. Maybe the stacks for the attack speed and increased basic attack projectile speed were only based on autos from last. I don't remember. I didn't play Apollo too much to really know whether or not it was abilities and autos in SMITE 1. As a third ability, the moves. Dash forward, dealing physical damage, knocking aside all enemies. Same at the end of the dash. All nearby allies gain a speed buff, and all nearby enemies are slowed. Any enemy hit provides 1 stack of Audacity. Pretty much the same. Ultimate ability, across the sky. Ride your chariot across the sky. Choose when to land. When descending, you deal physical damage every 0.15 for 0.6, knocking back enemies in the last tick. 2 allies can join the chariot ride by interacting with his takeoff location. Allies have until Apollo reaches max height to join. So that is definitely new. That's actually pretty cool. It might be kind of cringe for like maybe sort of split pushing, which Apollo is known to do. He sort of just ults, goes to someone's Phoenix and takes it. It's a little bit harder to do in SMITE 2, but with an extra person, it makes it a lot easier, right? So pretty much the same. He's a pretty easy god to port, which I'm assuming is why he's doing it. I think they're also basing it off of popularity, but I mean, this god is super easy to port. A lot of hunters are, I feel like. Earlier hunters, I mean. And then there's finally his aspect releasing May 23rd, Aspect of Harmony. Audacity now grants free So Beautiful casts. Now grants free So Beautiful cast. That's his one. But no attack speed. So Beautiful scales with item health, lowers enemy attack speed, and grants nearby allies attack speed on god or boss hits, but deals less base damage. Serenade now shields nearby allies but applies no protections. Buffing an ally grants an Audacity stack. So this is sort of a more like support type of aspect for him. I think it's pretty cool. I think I did see this in game. So once you get the max stacks, it just you just I think cast your one several times, which does a decent amount of damage. And because it scales with item health, you're going to be doing more damage if you build like Gauntlet of Thebes, stuff like that. Yogi's Necklace. And then it now lowers enemy attack speed. So that's like a anti-hunter type thing, ADC. Grants nearby allies attack speed on god or boss hits, which is nice. So I mean, if you build like Shoguns with this, plus that. With this one, gonna be hitting a lot. Pretty fast DPS. Does less base damage though, and then Serenade just gives allies shields. So definitely a more support like ranged god we got going on with that one. Overall, pretty cool. Not my most favorite, I will say, out of all of the recent ones, but definitely pretty cool with him coming. New Wandering Market. So I did see this skin. These are the shark skins. Got an Orca Black Prism, Goldfish, Tubular Teal. So those are pretty cool. Need more new skins. Guardian Athena. Some more prisms. This is what it's for. I believe, is this Star Flare? I think this is for Athena skin, yeah. Can't really see it. Cosmetics. And then Season 0 Winter Split rank reward, so it's going to be ending here soon. Rank borders, got to be at least silver. Got Demigod, Deity Winter 2025, and then Speedrunner for the ones that got like up there pretty quickly. All right, new cosmetic, Teleporter VFX. Teleporter VFX. Okay, so just some supporter store items. I'm not entirely sure what that new supporter store. Oh, I'm thinking of actual items now. These are just some like cosmetic stuff, which is pretty cool. All right, general account boosters. Account boosters are now available to purchase in the store. Purchasing an account booster grants you the following for 30 days: 100% account XP, 25% worshiper game, 25% wandering market XP. Pretty cool. Team benefits for teammate, 25% account XP, 5% worshiper gain, wandering market XP, stackable if multiple teammates have an active boost. The bonuses add up for everyone. Pretty cool. They did these sort of things in SMITE 1. Now they're sort of slowly bringing a bunch of that stuff back, so that's pretty cool. All right, God Builder players can now copy an existing build from one god to another god. Filters have been added to the bod builder page. Yeah, so I don't really use this, but that's pretty cool adding that. Console specific HUD. Now console specific HUD layout has been added to the options menu. So adding some new things to console, always good. An option has been added for quip and ambient map sound volume, so you can change the volume. That's nice. Onto game modes. Arena increased gold spooling amount from 12 to 14. Oh my god, they're trying to make this even faster. Increased XP spooling from 11 to 12 per second. Arena versus AI medium increased ticket limit. Okay, I don't care about that. Okay, the arena games are going to be going a little bit quicker, huh? Or at least you're going to get there level 20 a lot quicker. And that is basically it for that. On to the god balance, the good stuff. This is where the good stuff lies. So Baron Som debuff. I feel like this god has already gotten buffed like 2 or 3 different times. I think he's fine. I think the one thing that he needs a buff on, they're not doing, is his ult. I don't know what the fuck they did from SMITE 1 to SMITE 2. I looked at it. It's always been a thing with Baron, where, you know, you have to stack hysteria on them to actually have your ult suck them in. So the more hysteria that you have via using your abilities and stuff, the more that you can suck them in. But my god, the difference between SMITE 1 and SMITE 2 is just crazy. I wonder if it's the initial suck and SMITE 1 is a lot better than SMITE 2. I don't know, but I feel like they should change that. Either way, I think Baron's still in a good spot. So it's a little bit of a weird buff here, maybe. I don't know. Maybe stats say otherwise. I think he's a really good god. Wrap it up. Decrease cooldown from 16 to 14. So I can have that bitch up even quicker. Life of party increased slam damage. Slam damage? Is that what they call that? And intelligence scaling from 125 to 475 plus 55% scaling to 200 to 480. So the initial damage is going to be a lot better. It sort of teeters off towards the end. Still get a little bit of a buff by 5, but you get 70 instead of 55, so an extra 15 intelligence scaling, which is pretty good. It's for like a damage Baron that's going to be hitting, huh? And I mean, actually, I think about it. Baron's always been a good god to me, but it's more of like the hybrid type of build that I'm thinking of. So full damage Baron, not as great as I'll say, but still good though. All right, so Kronos buff, aspect of strife, dude. His aspect, if you're playing Joust, you know it's like the worst fucking aspect ever. And even still in fucking Conquest, I swear to God, it blows a little bit. You really got to focus on your 3 though if you want to make it work. Anyways, aspect of strife, horn charge is 3. Bonus cooldown reduction now applies when hitting jungle monsters at a reduced amount. Nice. 2 seconds instead of 4 seconds per hit. And then horn charge increased damage from 70 to 290 to 90 to 290. So initial damage is going to be a little bit more. Hunbat's buff. This god blows. Ever since they changed his ult, the most important part of his kit, when they reduced its CC, not great. I'm not gonna lie. Probably one of the worst gods right now, in my opinion. Hunbat's buff. So aspect of disruption. Overhead smash increased damage from 50 to 170 to 60 to 220. So the base damage is a little bit more at the start, but way more at the end. Really focusing on that base damage, I feel like. Specific to its aspect. So that's nice. Infused strikes. Passive increased strength per stack from 2 to 5. And then somersault in his 1 increased damage from 65 to 225 to 75 to 235. So an extra 10 overall. This also affects the second hit from this ability. Okay. So we'll be doing 10 more damage on each. So basically like 20. Overall, I think it's a pretty okay buff. I think maybe they should just change his ult back to what it was. But, you know, whatever. Alright, and actually now I think about it. Let's see, infused strikes. So I believe, I didn't really go over this too much, but I think, so if I remember correctly, Hunbat's gets more damage off his autos, like a multiplier. I can't remember what the multiplier is or something. But he gets that, and then he also gets some strength, I believe. So it was 2 stacks per, which is, I believe you're able to stack up 4 times. So there have been 8. Now it's 5, so it's 20. 8 to 20 is actually pretty nice. Pretty nice. That's actually probably one of the bigger ones, I think, maybe. His aspects can be better with this, but I think this might be really nice for like the jungle damage build. All right, Loki buff. Vanish. Increased damage over time scaling from 10% to 15% per tick. So an extra, so 1/3 a buff. Interesting. Little buff right there. Nuwa buff. Definitely needs it. She's not really great in my opinion either. Clay soldiers. Increase it dash damage intelligence scaling from 2.5 to 5%. So doubling it. I feel like her clay soldiers don't do nearly as much as they did in Smite 1, I'll tell you that. So that's nice. Shining metal, increased explosion damage intelligence scaling from 30% to 40%. And definitely that. I don't feel her burst as much as I do from Smite 1, which I definitely think she definitely needs. Yamoja buff, mending waters, increased shield health and scaling. Okay, so wait, I gotta remember this isn't for her aspect. Increased shield health and scaling from 30 to 130 plus 2% max health to 40 to 140 plus 4% max health. So doubling the max health addition to the shield health, which is really nice. So doubling the scaling on that, and then overall getting 10 more, which is nice on the shield health. River's Rebuke, decreased cooldown from 140 to 120 to 120 seconds overall. Honestly, I like that. I feel like Yamoja's ult should just be up all the time. I mean, his cooldown should not be that high, especially when you have items that you can just get for free at the start of the fucking game with Shell, and you can just walk through it, you and your team. So I feel like having a shorter cooldown on this makes that more impactful for her, especially when you can just, like I said, just counter it. And you have other items that counter it too, like that one item that counters it. You know what I'm talking about, that one item. No, I can't remember what it's called. Actually, I'll just look it up real quick. This item called Helm of Darkness. You become stealth and pass through players and player-made walls. So you can basically have to, I mean, it's not like it's a be-all counter, super easy to get. It's like 2,700 gold. It's only really good for like maybe a solo or support, but definitely there's more options for it anyways. So, all right, on to Merlin Shift. Aspect of Pandemonium. Oh my god, there's so much here for him. Holy. Elemental Mastery in his ult. Decreased intelligence buff scaling from 1 per level to 0.5 per level. Increased cooldown from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. I've been seeing him a lot, and I've voiced my opinion on it. I don't like his aspect all that much. It's so annoying and RNG based. It could go in your favor or it couldn't go in your favor. I like having I like to know what abilities I'm gonna have, because I have to continuously look down just to see what's going on at my abilities. Be like, okay, which ones do I have now? Oh, okay, this one, okay. It's just annoying to me. Again, I can see the benefits of it and how it can be really good. I personally just don't like it. But I will say it's been seeing this a lot, and I've been seeing people say it's really good. So honestly, I'm not opposed to this. Eclipse, decreased cooldown from 14 seconds to 12. Radiant, increased damage per tick, intelligence scaling from 4 to 20 to 4 plus 4% to 5 to 25 plus 5%. This is the burned DOT damage, not the ticking channel damage. Okay. And then finally in his 2B, decrease cooldown from 19 seconds to 16 seconds. That one's always been like, the Dragonfire's always been sort of not the greatest. It's good if you can like trap them and make them take that much damage, but it's pretty easy to get around. So nothing too crazy. It looks a little bit more than it actually is, I feel like. Definitely a shift to make his aspect a little bit worse, but other parts of his kit a little bit better. All right, so Aladdin nerf, Kufic Invocation. God, this guy just does not. He's so hard to balance. Increase cooldown from 11 seconds to 13 seconds. Increased mana cost from 65 to 85 to 85 at all ranks. Decreased returning small damage from 40 to 120 to 30 to 110, so 10 less, and then decreased returning large damage from 70 to 270 to 50 to 250. So 20 damage overall. 10 damage overall on the small part of it, having had more mana cost and 2 seconds more. So his one's getting, I wouldn't say gutted, but definitely significant nerf, which honestly this part of his kit does the most amount in my opinion, not accounting like the it's the most damage for how easy it is to use versus, you know, using your dash, auto cancel, stuff like that. Might do more burst damage, especially if you buy poly or crit, depending. But overall, his one does more damage more consistently at an easier rate. Basically what I'm trying to say. Oelix nerf, oh my gosh. Feather Step, increased cooldown from 8 seconds to 9 seconds. Wow, that was on an 8-second cooldown. Really? Oh my god, okay. Moonlight Charge, increased cooldown from 12 seconds to 14 to 12 overall, so early game won't be as much of an impact on, or I won't have, or will be a little bit, we'll have more of an impact early game. Adding an extra 2-second cooldown. The start, Gravity Surge, decreased base damage from 180 to 380 to 170 to 350. So 10 damage at the beginning, nothing too crazy, and then 30 at the end. So decreased strength scaling from 75 to 65%. That's where you'll see the biggest thing here. When you add these two together, that's definitely, you'll see that. Cabraca nerf, I can't speak. Refraction Shield, decreased damage from 70 to 270 to 50 to 270. So initially just won't do as much damage, but overall, once you get levels, it won't be anything different. This affects both normal and enhanced refraction shield. Okay, so both initially. So you're actually losing about 40 damage at the beginning, which, to be fair, Kraken does an obscene amount of damage. Who would have thought giving him an extra ability would have allowed him to do a lot more damage? Hades nerf, which is interesting. I'm surprised that they're nerfing him. Devour Souls, decreased heal from 20 to 80 to 10 to 70, so minus 10. Pillar of Agony, decreased protections gained while channeling from 50 to 110 to 30 to 110, so they're sort of nerfing his early game. Nothing too crazy. Sobek nerf, definitely in this game is a nerf. Tail Whip, increased cooldown from 12 to 13. And then Sickening Strike, increased cooldown from 12 to 13, so an extra cooldown, or extra second on his cooldown. Nothing too crazy, still going to be very good. Soul nerf aspect of conflagration. That one. Dissipate. Oh, I can't say words. Dissipate. Decreased damage in intelligence scaling from 90 to 250 plus 60% to 80 to 240 plus 50%. Yeah, this. If you don't know, late game Soul with a full intelligence build, using her 3 can like do over 1,000 damage. So I'm not opposed to this at all. And then now, and that's it. Actually, that is it. On to some items. This is where we're gonna get some interesting stuff. All right, on to some anti-heal. If you guys don't know the anti-heal problem, there's an anti-heal problem. There's just not enough anti-heal, I feel like, in the game. And so I do know there's a couple of things being added here, and definitely mended to it But I do believe, if you guys also don't know about this, in Smite 1, the damage that you used to deal for lifesteal, I believe you would lifesteal 1/3 of the damage, total damage that you do. So, if you do 100 damage, you would heal 33, basically. In Smite 2, from my understanding, when you do damage, whatever damage you do, you lifesteal 100% off of. So if you do 100 damage, you're lifestealing 100. So inherently, there should be more anti-heal, I feel like. So with that being said, I do know that they're definitely tackling some of this, because this has been a little bit of a problem, in my opinion, too. Ruinous on, it's not the craziest thing in the world, I will say. There's still a decent amount of anti-heal. It's very limited, I will say. But I will say also, it's not like a huge, oh my god, this is game ruining problem. I think it's a decent problem that should be addressed, which I believe is coming up here. So Ruinous on shift passive. Passive, enemies within 4 meters have 40% reduced healing. The anti-heal effect is increased up to plus 50% at close range and decreases by up to minus 50% in maximum range. Item anti-heal effect stack to a cap of 75%. So basically what this is saying is that if you are farthest away at the maximum range, you're only doing 20% anti-heal. But if you are really close, then you'll get up to 60%, is what I'm reading here. So it's basically the same type of, I don't want to say area of effect, but proximity type thing that they've been adding recently with like Void Shield, Void Stone, and Mystical Mail. Which honestly, I'm not opposed to. I'm not opposed to this. Divine Rune, decreased intelligence from 105 to 85, but added a new passive effect. Enemy gods hit by your basic attacks or abilities have 50% reduced healing for 6 seconds and trigger a chain lightning. From Smite 1, which is really nice. I like that. Damaging the target and up to 4 nearby allies for 40 damage plus 7.5% of your intelligence. This can only occur once every 20 seconds. So that's pretty cool. Already better. I like the difference between that, having this added passive to it. But item anti-heal effects stack to a cap of 75%. So, item anti-heal effects stack to a cap of 75%. So I'm not entirely sure what that actually means. That's pretty vague. Now, does this mean that you can build like Divine Ruin and Brawler's Ruin together and get a max stack of 75%? Or is that saying Divine Ruin and Ruinous Ankh together will only get you up to 75%? I'm not entirely sure. Or does this mean that you hit them for 50% one time, and then you can do another stack of it if you hit them again, and it'll reach up to 75%? I'm not entirely sure. If anybody would know exactly what that means, please let me know. But either way, it seems that it's a buff in a way that it stacks up to a cap of 75%, whereas before, actually, no, I'm not entirely sure. It depends on what that means, if it's a buff or not, because you could get up to 100 theoretically if you build all anti-heal items, right? So item anti-heal effects stack to a cap of 75%. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, item anti-heal effects stack to a cap of 75%, meaning that you can't go above 75%. So if you were to buy Ruinous Ankh and Divine Ruin, and let's hypothetically say you were close to them with Ruinous Ankh, you'd only get 75% instead of adding like 50 plus 40, which would be 90. But with this new thing, it would cap it to 75. Okay, so I think that's what that means. I mean, if I'm wrong, let me know, but I'm pretty sure that's what that means, which is actually kind of a nerf. But they're adding new effects to this, so it's all right, you know. And they're making it a little bit easier, quote unquote, a little bit harder too, actually, if they, depending on how close or far. So honestly, it's not really a buff to anti-heal as much as it is just a small change to it. Or I don't want to say small, but a decent change to it. Okay, interesting. Brawler's Rune, decreased strength from 65 to 50, added new passive effect. Enemy gods hit by your basic attack abilities have 50% reduced healing for 6 seconds, stack of 75. Getting a kill or assist on an enemy god creates a field around you that lasts 6 seconds, providing allies with 5+4 per level strength of intelligence. And this is basically what Brawler's Beat Stick was in Smite 1 as well. So they're sort of just adding this new effect, which is fine by me, honestly. Okay, so it turns out I'm actually wrong. This item effects anti-heal was always a thing. I just forgot about it. So there never was the case that it was 100% effect stack up to 100%. It's always been 75. I don't know why. I wanted to look back at the items. I'm like, wait, has this always been a thing? So yeah, no, it has been a thing. And then the only really things changed here is just they're adding the Smite 1 passive effect. So overall, nothing's really changed at all with this, except for this part right here for Runesong. So 75% has always been like that after checking the current pass that we're on. So moving on, new item Contagion releasing May 19th. This is another thing adding to anti-heal, just adding new things here for that. So for 2150, super fucking cheap, you get 400 health, 6 health regen, which is basically 30 HP 5. And target a location active. Okay, no, this is active. Target a location causing any enemy within to be debuffed with a 75% reduced healing for 6 seconds. If an enemy uses an ability while afflicted, your cooldowns are reduced by 0.25. Builds from Ruinous Venom, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's really good. It doesn't seem to have a passive anymore like it was before in Smite 1. So every 45 seconds, you just get a bunch of anti-heal, and it reduces your cooldowns when anyone uses an ability. I guess I'll have to we have to see how big the target location is, because depending on how big it is will depend on how good it is, and I'm thinking it's probably going to be a pretty healthy size, knowing how Hi-Rez likes to introduce new things, right? But for 2150 gold, that's really good. 400 health. I just realized this actually doesn't give any protections, actually. So, not as good, but still definitely pretty solid. This is going to be more of a, hopefully, just a counter item. With Runesong changing, honestly, I might just start picking up Contagion more. Not going to lie, because, again, they reduced its protections a lot. This gives 400 health, and it does anti-heal for the, the entirety of the full the cap 75%. So that'll be pros and cons, which is what I do like about Smite 2 with items like this. But another variation in anti-heal, which is always nice for me, in my opinion. Other new items: Dwarven Plate, releasing tomorrow. 2,800 gold, 30 of each protection, so it's actually pretty expensive. Gain additional physical protection equal to 12.5% of your physical protections from items. Okay, so if you have like 100 protections, you'll be getting an extra 12 and a half, right? Actually, that's really good. What the fuck? Gain additional magical protections equal to 25% of your magical protections from items. So if you have 100 protections, you get 25 extra magical protections. Active, swap the percent bonuses. Interesting. Ooh, that's some high skill level, if I'm reading this right. Swap the percent bonuses. So if you want to, you can swap them. Let's say if an enemy is attacking you, or two enemies are physical, right? You could use your active, swap the percent differences, and you get 25% extra protections rather than 12.5%. Interesting. I guess that's really when you would only do it, because there wouldn't be a point in swapping. Like if you're going up against magical gods, right? Why would you swap that? You'd be getting less protections, right? You swap the 12.5 to 25. So I really guess it's only against physical, no? So I'm reading it wrong, right? Gain additional physical protections. Gain additional magical protections. Yeah, if you were to swap it, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice. If like you're getting ganged up by magical gods, for example. So I really think it's only against physical, unless I'm reading it wrong. Still, pretty. It's an okay item. The percentage that you get here is kind of wild. You get like 200 protections, right? 200 magical protections. What you're getting? Oh my god, I gotta do math here. 25. You're getting 50. Yeah, 50 of 50 magical protections, which is kind of wild. It's actually pretty good, actually. Yeah, we'll see how that is. Definitely curious to try that one out. Freya's Tears, 2600 gold. Not the most expensive, but not cheap either. 20 physical protections, 25 magical protections, 20 cooldown rate. That's a lot of stats here. Each time you lose 25% health, you gain a bonus 15% magic, or not magical, 15 bonus protections in general. This lasts for 5 seconds and can stack twice. Okay, so you lose 50% of your health. You get 30% extra protections, plus whatever what you already have. That's actually really good. You're gonna get tankier as you get lower. Definitely a really good solo item. Definitely some really good stat sticks here too. You get some cooldown. Honestly, you might just start building this for any type of. I might, yeah. Instead of fuck a Pridwin, right? I mean, Pridwin's still gonna be good. You could combine both of them. Just get all your cooldowns. Okay, I fuck with this item a lot. This one's gonna be really good, especially for you solo players. And then Erosion, 2400 gold, you get 250 health, 15 magical and 25 physical. Any shields applied on enemy gods within 11.2 meters will be reduced by 30%. Whenever this effect occurs, you gain 10% of your protections for 6 seconds. Okay, interesting. Definitely an anti-shield item. Another one of them, which I'm not opposed of. Or I'm not opposed to. I mean, we do have a couple of other ones. Only a couple. One of them being shield splitter, and the other one being, I think, that one intelligence item from SMITE 1 as well that slows enemies. And then I believe you have, no, you have a couple other. Now I'm thinking about it. You have God, I can't remember the names. The bow one, actually, I'll just take a look at it real quick. All right, you have Pharaoh's Curse, which right here. You get rid of their shields by 50%. And then you have a bow. Where's the bow? Here it is, Lernian's Bow. This one as well. So that's pretty cool. Finally, these are all coming on the 26th, so a week later from tomorrow. Draconic Scale, 2700 gold, 300 health, 20 each protection. Pretty good stats. Each time you take damage, gain 1 plus 2% bonus protections. Oh, a lot of these are protection heavy, huh? Okay, so each time you take damage, gain 1 plus 2% bonus protections against that damage type. Stacks last for 1.5 seconds with a maximum of 10 stacks. Stacks decay by 1 rather than being fully removed. So you're almost always just going to keep getting stacks, especially if it's not going to be fully removed, which will be really good when you're in team fights. So you could get up to 20% bonus protections plus 1. So okay, so you gain 1 plus, so you're going to be getting actually 1 each time, so you're going to get 10 at max, so 10 plus 20% bonus protections against that damage type. So I believe the bonus protections is going to go off of the protections you have. So I think that's how that looks like it works, which is actually pretty good. Now I'm thinking what's going to end up happening, because that's a lot of stacks you have to get up to. It means you take a lot of damage to do that. They might reduce the amount of stacks you have later down the line that you need to get to max. So let's say like they cut it down to like 5, but they're going to increase the bonus protections per attack, hypothetically, if the item doesn't do well. Once you get, I've noticed, once you get like stacks involved into it and it gets to like a really high number, excluding things that you build up like Transcendence, Book of Thoth, whatever, they tend to reduce the stacks while upping the amount you get per stack to make it better. So that might be what will end up happening. But overall, at max, you get 10 plus 20% bonus protections, which is pretty good. Percent increase in stuff is good if you build a lot of that said thing. All right, and that's all we had. That's a lot, actually. Erosion we've seen before. Contagion we've probably seen in a different form, though. But definitely new items with Dwarven Plate we have not seen. Freya's Tears we have not seen. And then Draconic Plate we haven't really seen either. Sort of, although, I mean, you think about it. This item is sort of like, what's this item called? That's actually not that. That's actually a pretty solid item. Helm of Radiance when you take physical damage. So it's basically just that. Just kind of a better passive, in my opinion, if you can get the stacks. And then, but obviously, you know, it's a lot more. And this one's specific to physical procs, which might be better because it's cheaper. Stuff like that. It's a hybrid item. So differences there, though. All right, general item balance. Increased tick frequency from 1 to 0.5. So it's going to be getting a lot faster, and then decrease heal from 3.5 to 2 seconds. So actually sort of the inverse of what I was saying here. In order to buff this, they just made the ticks go faster, but the tick per is going to be lower a little bit. But overall, better, because if it's every 0.5 seconds rather than 1, it was 3.5 to 2, then it's going to be 4 at 1 second, if that makes sense. So it's actually a pretty big, it's a better buff is what I'm trying to say. One of the biggest things that I've seen recently is that tanks have been getting cooked. I've been playing a lot of tanks. I'm just like, wow, I'm getting shredded really easily. So you're probably going to see a lot more increase in, or I'm sorry, you're going to probably see buffs here for tanks here. Maybe just a little bit of a buff, nothing too crazy, but Berserker Shield, increased passive protections from items from 50% to 65%. So you're going to get 65% off of items. So that's going to be a little good. Providence increased by 50 health. Hasten Fatalis, increased cost from 2550 to 2650. Increased attack speed from 20 to 25. Increased max stacks from 3 to 4. Melee basic attacks provide 2 stacks, while range only provide 1. That makes sense. If you're going to use Hasten Fatalis on, it's just inherently worse for melee gods than for ranged, especially with the stacks that they added to this. You have to increase the stacks by hitting them to get the hastened effect. So it seems to be overall a little bit of a, it's more of a shift than it is a full-on buff. Hussar's Wing, sorry, decreased cost from 37 to 35, increased health from 400 to 500. Not bad. Very, very good item. So fucking good. But it is very expensive, so I'm not opposed to having that right there, honestly. As long as it doesn't get any cheaper than that, I feel. Mystical Mail passive effect added. Oh my god. Enemies within 4 meters are dealt 15 plus 1 per level magical damage per second. Damage increases by up to 0.50% at close range and decreases by up to 50% at maximum range. Enemies take the full amount as bonus damage if they have a health shield. Wait. Enemies take the full amount as bonus damage if they have a health shield. Okay, so I thought they added this already to Mystical Mail. Am I tripping? Or is this the thing that they're adding to it? I think this was already the same. They added the proximity thing here, right? I'm gonna pretend like that was already a thing, because I swear to God it was. Enemies take the amount as bonus. Enemies take the full amount as bonus damage if they have a health shield. Okay, so I don't know what that really means. They're taking the, wouldn't they be taking the full amount anyways if they had a health shield? Would it be ticking off the health shield, no? I don't know what that means. I'm gonna be so honest. If someone could tell me, I feel like this is already a thing that happened anyways. Is this saying that it takes full amount at the health instead of the health shield? Or is it an added bonus damage if they have a health shield, so it's duplicating it? I don't know. I think this is already a thing, and in this thing, I don't know what this does, but it seems to be the case that they're taking more damage from what I'm seeing. High res and their fucking, the way they describe things sometimes aren't the most sound and whatever. It could be me, I don't know. Pharaoh's Curse, increased attack speed slow from 20% to 40%. That's really good. Slow to buff remains 20%. Okay, so it's just the attack speed. So that's gonna be a really good, imagine if you're a Bologna and you're going up against a hunter and you're like, nah, I'm gonna use my 1 And then I'm going to use my Pharaoh's Curse on you. So now you have no attack speed, let alone I have block stacks too. God, that'd be so cringe. Decrease duration from 6 seconds to 4 seconds. Okay, so it's not a full buff. It's going to be 4 seconds now instead of 6, and then decrease, but decrease the cooldown by 15 seconds. Oh my God. So it's going to be up a lot quicker. It's going to last a tiny bit more or less, 1/3 less, but the attack speed is going to be doubled. So that's pretty good. Not too much of a buff, but definitely I think better. Spirit Robe increased protections by 5. Okay, so that's gonna be like that. I'm kind of surprised Soul Reaver wasn't nerfed here. I'm not gonna lie, that item's really good right now. Who would have thought with the changes to like Gauntlet and shit like that? All right, so quality of life, fixed joust. Okay, whatever items, fixed not working. Okay, cool. So a lot of new items this patch, I will say. Not a lot of changes to other items that aren't tinky. Just small changes, really, which is fine. I think it's fine. Tanks are still going to feel a little bit, based on these general balance items, still going to feel a little bit squishier than normal. But with these other items being in place, they should counterbalance a lot of the burst too. A lot of percent bonus increases, which I don't mind. Some of these items are probably going to have to get nerfed, but definitely notable ones would be Draconic Scale, definitely Freya's Tear. That's going to be really fun. Dwarven Plate, and Contagion, really. I think Erosion's fine. It's going to be a counter item. Contagion's still probably going to be a counter item, but I do like that it does just give a full-on 75% reduced healing. This one's going to be more interesting. I don't think it's going to be as good, but I do really like it. Freya's Tears is going to be really good. I love that item. Probably going to build that on like most gods, I feel like. If I'm building like a solo or tanky god. And then this one, I think is good. I just don't know. The amount of stacks it has is a little worrisome. I just have to maybe see it live. I want to play it. Going on to some gods here, some notable ones. Probably a Wheelix. So Wheelix is a little bit worse. Still gonna be pretty solid though. Aladdin's one definitely got gutted a little bit. Nothing crazy here. I think this is more text than what it leads on to be. It's a pretty decent buff overall, I think, for his regular forms and stuff like that, but nerf to his aspect. Nuwa should be feeling a little bit better. Hunbats is a pretty solid change. I don't think it brings him up that much, to be honest. And then Baron's getting another buff, which is already, I think, a solid god to begin with. So that's basically it. Nothing crazy, not a lot of changes compared to like Open Beta 7, 8, and 9. Just probably some wrapping up things to do, moving on to some new things that they're going to be trying to implement, stuff like that. New changes to Arena, new count boosters, which is pretty cool. Some new skins, and then finally we got some Apollo. So pretty solid update. I would have to compare it to 9, 8, and 7. Definitely not as much. Definitely a little bit more chill, if you would say, I guess. But overall, pretty fun. Not the most hype update, but pretty solid. Not gonna lie. But yeah, that's basically it. Again, the URL will be in the description down below. But what do you guys think of this update? Let me know in the comment section down below. I got Discord in the description down below if you want to join an awesome community. Twitch in the description down below as well if you want to follow me there. I'm actually going to go live here pretty soon. But I'm live every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the most part. And then sometimes throughout the week if you want to go ahead and follow and come by, sometimes stream on YouTube. I got memberships open, I believe for 99¢ and $2.99 a month if you so desire, but obviously not necessary, but much appreciated. But yeah, that is basically it. Like, comment, and subscribe if you like these videos. But I think that is everything that I have for you. So, with that being said, thank you guys for watching.